G'day viewers, the end of another week means it's time once more for Totally Fucked Up Friday, where I bring you a few choice examples I've discovered from news stories around the world that prove the world really is totally fucked up. And I am combating at the moment a gale force wind blowing outside. It surges through every now and then. The microphone will probably pick it up from time to time. I'm just hoping the shed doesn't blow down or I don't get lifted up and carried off to Kansas. I'm already in Oz, so one assumes I'll be carried off to Canvas if a twister gets me. We'll soldier on. And I'm going to start by revisiting a story that I've done before. It's about a lawyer for a bunch of copyright trolls from a company called Prenda. I've mentioned them before. In fact, I mentioned the copyright trolls, then I mentioned their crazy friggin' lawyer. What they do is they track people who torrented porn. In some cases, they didn't even do it. But they send these people a notice saying, we own the copyright for Anal Slutbusters 15, and you downloaded it, and if you don't pay us this money, we'll take you to court and it'll become public record that this is the type of thing you watch. Basically, they're shaking people down for hush money. It's like, you watch filthy, filthy porn, and we're going to publicly embarrass you unless you pay us some money. Now, they've been shut down repeatedly by courts, and their brave lawyer, one Jacques Nazaire, doesn't sort of give up easily. When I mentioned him last, he was in Georgia stating why the Georgia judge shouldn't pay attention to a judgment that was against him in California, because they're weird in California. They do gay marriage, therefore don't notice that I'm abusing the law horribly, which really didn't work for him. Then he's just gone on with weirder things. At one point just randomly saying, you have to find for me because the hackers are after me. The anonymous. It just gets weirder and weirder. But his most recent effort is he has asked the judge to seal the records of the case, to not allow them to be available publicly, which is a normal situation with court hearings, because people are saying mean things about him in comment threads on websites and blogs. I mean, for real, this is a person who's supposedly educated and is a lawyer, and supposedly his role is to defend the law, and he is willing to stand up in front of a judge saying, you're not allowed to tell anyone I say, because the other kids are mean to me about it. It's this crazy messed up world when if you act like an A-grade fuckwit and talk utter shit, people want to make fun of you for it. And that's just not on, according to this guy. I'll predict that this will go the same way as all these other legal arguments have gone, straight down the toilet. It's weird. Sometimes defendants act totally weird and you can see they're just going for an insanity plea here. But this is the actual lawyer. I don't think there's a case where a lawyer has to cop an insanity plea, but I think this guy might be going for it. And the whole idea of copyright, abuses of copyright, is one that really pisses me off. And some people don't always understand why I'm doing it. Like, artists have to be protected. If fucking anything under copyright law was being done to protect creators and promote the idea that creators should be rewarded for their work, I'd be all for it. But it isn't. Everything that's happened for the last 20 years has been about letting huge companies generate massive profits from stuff they didn't create. No one has hurt creators more than these big companies. No one's hurt recording artists more than record companies. What the file sharers have done is fuck all compared to the way recording artists have been fucked over by record companies. The big movie studios have fucked over writers, creators, directors, actors all the time. They're the ones who fucking hurt creators. And a classic example has come up this week in England where more and more restrictive laws about the internet are getting put in, and they've done this blanket, goes way further than the US DMCA law, saying like, well, if a content holder says, these IP addresses are infringing on us, you have to block them if you're an ISP. And that's with no court oversight, with no court case. Just if someone says, block that site, the ISP has to do it. Now, again, if all this shit ever did was block actual pirate sites. I don't give a shit about people going, I should be allowed to post whatever I want and plaster it with ads and make money off it. Fuck those guys. Fuck the pirate sites. I have no interest in them at all. But these laws don't just go. In fact, half the time they don't even go after the pirate sites. They just fuck up. In this case, the English Premier League, the people who run the big football competition in the UK, have said, we have tracked this site, streams broadcasts of our games, that's bad. You could mount an argument that it has no negative effect on the Premier League. I'm not even interested in doing that. What I'm interested in pointing out is these fuckheads at the Premier League said, block this, and it turned out to block sites like the Radio Times. And if you don't know much about the UK, that's just the website that does the listings for what's on TV. So, in other words, the Premier League has made no effort to do their job properly, and they've just said, block them all! And the ISPs did, because they're legally compelled to, and then subscribers started saying, why have you fucking idiots blocked the Radio Times and a few other sites? And the ISPs just sort of, oh God, what do these idiots do with these IP addresses? And so the ISPs, to keep their customers happy, have gone, yes, we'll unblock it, and it's gone to court, and, you know, the Premier League's going to be responsible for fixing it right. And, of course, the Premier League said, we made a mistake, we were wrong, that should never have happened, we're really sorry for him. No, they didn't! They didn't do that! They have actually chucked a huge hissy fit and said, ISPs, you're not allowed to fix our fuck-up. The law says if the court rules, you have to do it. Even if it's fucking stupid and we fucked it up from beginning to end, we don't have to accept responsibility, and you're not allowed to fix things for your customers. That is how fucked these companies are. They screw up their job completely, someone else cleans up their mess, and they actually say, oh, you're not allowed to fix our fuck-ups. We're allowed to do whatever we want. These people are fucking scum. It is nothing to do with intellectual property. It's nothing to do with helping anyone except these stupid fucking companies who are scared of the fact their previously protected business model has been subverted by changes. The same thing that happened all through history, and these fuckheads think they can stop it, and they tell absolute lies. And that's what shits me about it. They're fucking lying. Sometimes they are just so phenomenally stupid, they don't realise what they're doing and saying is profoundly wrong. But this is just, it's hard to actually lay out the arrogance of these companies better than that when the Premier League goes, you're not allowed to fix things when we fuck it up. You just have to block it anyway. We don't give a shit what the collateral damage is. We can do whatever we want. Fuck those guys. Honestly, I hate that shit. I'm going to finish with one which in certain perspectives is a bit of a lighter story, but if you're on the receiving end of the bad stuff, maybe not that much lighter. I'm going to lead in with a question. If you staged a promotional event and said, we are going to attach vouchers to helium balloons and let them go, and if you get the vouchers, you get free stuff. Imagine, okay, helium balloons are going to float, you've got to get the thing, and you get the free stuff. What could possibly go wrong when you announce that? No, really, just think about it for a minute. Invite a crowd, stuff will float. What could go wrong? The hint is in the headline for the article, 20 hurt as LG promotional stunt goes wrong. Yes, who knew that when you invite a mob to free giveaways, shit could go wrong? And I honestly think their big mistake was telling people ahead of time about the helium balloons. This is in South Korea. People showed up with BB guns and knives attached to long sticks to get at the balloons. And then they all mobbed with their weapons, and that's how the people got hurt. I did particularly like, apparently some wag referred to it as World War G, because they thought these surging mobs of people crawling over each other were like the crazed zombies in the recent World War Z movie, which, although it's got nothing whatsoever to do with the book, except they bought the name World War Z, it's actually not a bad action movie if you haven't seen it. Random movie review thrown in there. It's not brilliant, not bad, very entertaining. So yes, World War G happened. There's a couple of things that occurred to me, like, seriously, who's fucking stupid enough to inspire that sort of mob mentality. And second, it wouldn't have been as bad if you just told people to show up and there's a promotion giveaway going on and you hadn't given them advance warning about the balloons, and then you just let the balloons go and said catch them, because then they wouldn't have bought the fucking weapons with them. But also, at the end of the day, really? South Korea? You're actually interested in LG phones? I didn't know anyone was still interested in LG phones. Who knew LG phones could get people excited to the point they're willing to injure people to get... I mean, honestly, the horrible irony of this whole thing, like, real fuck up. LG's had to take responsibility and pay the medical bills for the people who were injured, and yet, on top of all this, people are talking about LG for the first time in God knows how long. So yes, you can fuck up completely and still give your company the best PR it's had in 10 years.